Hey guys, John from the John Muir Show here, and the fallout continues from the recent special legislative session that we had here in the state of Wisconsin. Of course, the Assembly and the Senate met within the past couple of weeks to consider some legislation that Governor Walker ended up signing into law just this past Friday in Green Bay. And now you've got a couple of liberal groups getting together, and it seems that more liberals are piling on in this effort to try and see if they can get some of this legislation that was passed at the special session struck down in court. Specifically, in this instance, they are targeting changes that would be made to the amount of time that people could vote early before Election Day. So one of the things that was included in this legislation that the governor had signed this past week was that all municipalities in the state of Wisconsin would not be allowed to start their early voting period more than 2 weeks ahead of Election Day. And as a result, you're hearing all sorts of complaints coming in from the left talking about how, oh, this is going to hurt Democrats' chances of winning elections going forward. And of course, oh, it would not be complete. Liberals complaining without the term racist being used. They're saying it is so racist that early voting in the state of Wisconsin would be limited to just 2 weeks. But yeah, why don't we go ahead and address some of those concerns? Okay, this is all being done in the name of equality, if you haven't figured it out. I mean, heck, the governor came out and said it himself. Look, all we're trying to do is ensure that the same standard is being held throughout the state, that all 72 of Wisconsin's counties, that all of the municipalities within those counties are abiding by the same rules. That is all that is going on. There is no provision in here saying that Republicans get more days to vote early than Democrats do. There is no provision in here saying that African American residents in Wisconsin or any other racial minority get any fewer days than white people do to go voting in the elections. No, it is the same for everybody. And heck, if somebody has a problem where they can't get to the polls on Election Day, they don't have transportation, or some of the arguments that are often used by the left in saying why early voting needs to be such a long period of time. Look, okay, you're not just limiting it to Election Day. These individuals have a double-digit number of days where they're able to go and vote. I think that is more than reasonable, a more than sufficient amount of time for individuals to get to the polls. I'm sure they can get to the polls on at least one of those days. So it is absolutely absurd, the criticisms that I'm hearing to this. I mean, no, everybody is operating on the same playing field. That's what we should all be advocating for, is equality across the board. And that is what this is. It is absolutely absurd, the challenges I'm hearing to this. And I know this has been considered in the courts before, whether or not changes can be made to the early voting period in the state of Wisconsin. But you know what? I'm very glad that Republicans decided to revive this effort, because this is a conversation that absolutely should be revived. That we should be having this talk about how is it that we can ensure that all Wisconsinites are playing by the same rules. And I really hope that the change that was made here by the Republican legislature and by Governor Walker, that it's one that is able to stay on the books, because it's all being done in the name of fairness. All these damn liberals that are whining about it, you can shut your mouths and go away. There is nothing wrong with all of us playing by the same rules. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And that's all the time that we have for today, but tune into the John Muir Show each and every weekday, 8:40 a.m. on WTAQ, 9 a.m. on WSAU and WHBL. Till then, I'm out.